I wonder if we're gonna get the same attention without Joey on the live.
No, we
Dude,
will.
one guy's been messaging me on Discord.
They'll just
Actually,
be saying a
Foggy?
bunch of random stuff
Yeah.
in the chat.
Um,
what?
2 questions. You see my screen, everyone?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
see
Yep.
it.
Well, obviously I can't.
At
But
least you can see the screen, Joey.
I can't.
Oh shit, you can't.
Oh,
Well,
you're saying on YouTube?
What's
No,
up, guys? We're live on YouTube.
Riverside. Can you see
Tap in.
video
Link
on
is in
your phone?
our link is in our bio.
We'll be on
You can see
YouTube now.
Chia, Joey, Jackson.
Are we talking about on YouTube? Can I see you, or are we talking about on Discord?
Either one doesn't really matter. Okay.
Where would I look on Discord?
Yeah, I forgot you can't see the Riverside on your phone. So. Okay.
Where would I look? Where would I find it on the Discord?
Not Discord. I thought I said Riverside.
Oh.
Yeah, but I forgot you're on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, y'all. What's up?
Welcome
What's
everyone
up?
to MMA Chit Chat. We will be breaking down.
Welcome in.
The
We're doing the stream on
Derek
YouTube. We're
Lewis
live on
Textera
YouTube. Make sure
fight.
to click the link in our bio to join. You can see Chia, Jackson, Joey.
Whole gang.
Yeah. After the prelims, after we're done doing the one sentence on the prelims, MK, you can read the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much the chat's gonna be blowing up already, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, this is the first time the 4 of us have been on the call in maybe like 3 weeks.
I know.
Ages.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Maybe
Too
there's a
long.
little bit of a chem lacking, but we'll get it back.
Well, we got a banger to start us off, so
Yeah, we got a banger to start us off. We have Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez and Klein, but I don't care. It's my one sentence. Joey?
I'm gonna say I've heard a lot of good things about Fatima Klein. I don't know anything about her, so hopefully she gets it done. I'll assume that she's good.
yeah, I'm gonna go Fatima Klein as well. I know she is the more well-rounded of the two. I think it's gonna go to the ground, and she will probably just dominate there.
I'm also going Fatima Klein. I think she's like an athletic specimen. Joey
Doesn't
and
look like
Jackson
it.
just went Fatima Klein. She's better than Melissa Martinez, I think, everywhere in this matchup. So yeah, I think Fatima wins.
Yeah, minus 1,300 favorite.
Wow.
Next fight, we have Mitch Ramirez versus Mike Davis. And this is another big
We're talking-
odds, minus 1,000 favorite, Mike Davis. And I think Mike Davis is really good. I think he had an off night on his last loss. But give me Mike Davis. I like his fighting style.
Yeah, I think those odds are kind of ridiculous. So maybe when the props drop, there'll be some value on like Mike Davis by decision, because Mitch Ramirez is a pretty tough guy. So yeah, but I think Mike Davis dominates either way, whether it's a finish or a decision win.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. You know, obviously the record doesn't really speak for itself with Mike Davis. He has pretty decent fights in the UFC. Been fighting for a really long time. Last fight, obviously against Farasiam, like a really tough matchup. So I give it to Mike Davis.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. I think Mike Davis, sometimes he loses matchups that I think he should win. But I think this is one of the fights where he should have it in the bag. I think Mitch Ramirez doesn't have much to offer other than like durability. And like maybe he'll be like, on trying to be on the front foot, pushing Mike Davis back. But I think Mike Davis ultimately has all the tools to mix it up.
Yep. Agreed.
They're saying I look like Joshua Van in the chat. And they're saying, is Unk dead?
You can tell him you can see Anka on YouTube.
Yeah, I told them, I was like, you can see all of us on YouTube. Unk is not dead. He's on the YouTube.
Yeah, someone on YouTube said Unk was
I'm here.
Okay, next fight we have Kennedy. I might want to get canceled. And we got Volter Walker. I'm a big fan of Volter Walker. I picked Volter Walker his last 2 fights, got 2 wins in a row, especially as a dog. But I think Kennedy's too big to be taken down. I don't think Walter will be able to take him on the ground. So give me Kennedy.
Yeah, 100%
I don't know. 100% with you on that, Chia.
I don't agree. I think I like Walter as a dog. I mean, I think if anything, this should be closer to like an even odds fight. I looked at it earlier today. Walter was like plus 170. So he's a pretty sizable underdog, and 2 wins in a row by heel hook pretty quick. The only thing I'm worried about with Walter, really, Kennedy, he normally has to I forgot we're doing one sentence for this, but
Yeah, come on, wrap it up.
yeah.
We can
okay,
kind of just go off. It's fine. This is a
Right.
good fight.
Wrap it
yeah.
up, Benny Blanco.
Okay. Come on, man. But I just think Kennedy normally relies on his length a lot, and he doesn't have that advantage here at all with Walter.
Yeah, only a
Uh,
6-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean doesn't have an advantage at
I mean,
all?
okay. I mean, Walter's 6'6", but he has a reach advantage, not as much as he normally would.
Yeah.
But
Well-
yeah, I think if this goes to the ground, Kennedy is probably in trouble.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this as a caveat to this. I find this fight being on the prelims absolutely super disrespectful. And instead, we're having Austin Lane's bum ass on the prelims. I think that Dana White should get slapped in the face for the disrespect that he's giving this fight, because it's actually a pretty decent fight compared to the ones on the card. I think Kennedy and Zechku. I'm with Chia. I think the length is going to be really tough for Volter Walker, a guy who's lost to Lucas Bresky. I can't even believe that we have to remind people that Volter Walker couldn't even strike with Lucas Bresky, and we're expecting him to be able to strike with a guy like Kennedy and Zechku, who was able to 3 years ago knock out Carlos Ulberg, who's about to fight for a title soon in the light heavyweight division. Kennedy Nzechukwu is the epitome of a guy who needed to move up to heavyweight and absolutely dominate the division. And I think that this is just another step into him moving up into that heavyweight division, getting some better fights.
MK?
I'm with you guys. I'm with Joey, not Jackson, I guess. But I'm on Nzechukwu. I think that he.
What? Jackson was on Volter. Well, the rest of us
Wait.
were on Kennedy.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
Yeah,
That's what he
I'm
said.
with Joey and.
Oh,
He's a
Joey.
dog.
I thought you said Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kennedy is going to be able to ward off the takedowns.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit too good, and honestly,
I don't think he's a little
Walter-
bit too good.
Too good for okay. So Walter,
Yeah.
I think he'll gas out. That's what I honestly
Yeah,
think. Too.
I
I think
could see
later on
that.
he'll gas out, and then Kennedy will find a shot on him or something.
Yeah, I agree. The YouTube chat said, "What's up, Unk? Another first round
Hello.
KO for the Blob. Another first round KO of the Blob. Kennedy stat padding his record, and Chia, could we get a tricep review?" So I did that while
Tricep
you were
review?
yapping.
Hello, whoever said that.
Bricka. I don't know who he is on.
Oh, Bricka, yeah.
Yeah,
He's from somewhere. He's from a country somewhere.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Croatia, I believe.
Croatia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, MK's way better about remembering this shit. He comes on once in a blue moon and he remembers this shit.
Facts,
Lauren
man.
Murphy versus I'm skipping this. Next fight we have Jake Matthews versus Chitty, and let me tell you, when Chitty was a dog last fight, I predicted it, and I'm going Chitty again. He's a dog he's a slight favorite, I think, this matchup.
Yeah, he is.
And yeah, I'm going Chitty again. I think Chitty looked amazing in this last fight. 7-inch reach advantage. I couldn't even imagine having a 7-inch advantage on a woman. Talk about another guy. 2-inch. Yeah, I just think the length will be too much for Jake Matthews to handle. I don't even think Jake Matthews is that good of a fighter. So give me Chitty.
I mean, that's crazy.
Chitty run.
Jake Matthews is definitely good, but I do think this is a big mismatch for him. You know, obviously the reach advantage you've already talked about, and this is also Chitty's kind of like last ride. 36 years old, needs some wins in this welterweight division, so it's almost like these wins are kind of more necessary for him, and getting a win here against Jake Matthews will almost certainly vault him into that top 15 fighting, or at least the ability to fight a top 15, because I think this would be his third straight win in the welterweight division. And he's very talented. I love Jake Matthews. His boxing is super crisp, but this is just a really bad matchup for him. But you know, somebody's got to make it, get that top 15 fight, and whoever comes out of this with a W is definitely going to get that.
Yeah, I think sorry to cut Jackson and MKL, but I think the hardest part of this fight for Chitty is going to be making weight. Once he does that, I think
that's crazy, but
free bet.
I mean, he looked pretty. He did get rocked against Elizeu, but I feel like he's kind of found some comfortability at this weight class. I'm not super passionate about either side. I'm with you guys with Chitty, but I mean, Jake Matthews was able to beat Phil Rowe, who's kind of similarly like a tall, long striker. I don't think Phil Rowe can like mix it up on the feet as well as Chitty can. So I think Chidi could still win. But yeah, he has really skinny legs, easy to take down. We've seen Jake Matthews wrestle before. So I think it's going to be super close fight. Definitely don't think I'll be touching this one with a bet or anything.
Same here, Jackson.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I have Jake Matthews winning this one. I'm not fully convinced that Chidi is going to be comfortable cutting to welterweight consistently. I just like those old talks about how he was back in, I think, Bellator, where he was having like those like basically like life-threatening weight cuts. It makes me think that he's straining his body to make it, and I think Jake Matthews is a deadly threat at welterweight. I think he's better than Chidi everywhere, and I think he gets this.
Are we
Except for
making
stand-up.
Are we making a
I
bet?
mean, he missed weight last fight, so you're not completely off, MK. I'm sure that he had a pretty bad weight cut last fight because he missed by like 6 pounds, I'm pretty sure, last fight.
But
Yes, sir.
I mean,
like
who
that.
cares if he misses weight? Like from like
True.
picking.
They're probably going to still fight if he misses weight here, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I'm even more confident in Chidi if he misses weight. Last fight of the prelims to round it all off: Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis. I think Chris Curtis wins.
Yeah, I'm with you
Yeah.
on that.
I think they both suck, but I think Chris Curtis wins.
I mean, Chris, you just are very harsh about these fighters. Like Chris Curtis, Jake Matthews, like these guys don't suck. They're just like
Chris
not
Curtis
maybe-
sucks.
Chris Curtis certainly does not suck. He has crazy knockout power, and I think he's probably going to get it done via knockout in this fight. Max Griffin is obviously not on the talent level of Chris Matthews. He's so big, so strong, and I think this fight's at welterweight, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's going down in a weight class.
Yeah.
So he's going down in a weight class. I think this is going to be the perfect home for him, especially with the power that he's been able to showcase at middleweight. I think it's going to be another case of, seeing a guy like him, same with Shitty, go on a pretty decent run at this welterweight division because he is pretty talented on the feet. I mean, as much as, Chia just hates every fighter, apparently.
Yeah, Chris
And-
Curtis has some crazy knockout power with one knockout in his last 7 fights.
But he's fighting like the upper echelon of competition. Like you have to
I
take that
can't
into account.
respect the guy who lost and then cried about getting KO'd to Roman Kopylov and said,
I mean, in that fight, and he fought really good in that fight.
Stop the fight.
That was a really good fight.
He was down 2-1.
Yeah, you definitely would've
Still a
lost the
good
decision.
fight. Like, no, I didn't say he was winning the fight. I said it was a good
Yeah.
fight. I didn't say he
Yeah.
was winning. And who knows with the judges these days? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah,
Did
he's
not
fought
have
at
one.
welterweight before too, right?
I don't think so. I think this would be his first fight. That's why.
guessing.
That's why I think maybe we're
I'm
kind
checking
of.
right now. Yeah, his first UFC fight in welterweight.
Damn.
Do you guys think
So
Max
long.
Griffin is that good?
I think
No,
Max
that's
Griffin
why I'm
sucks.
picking. Yeah, I don't think Max Griffin. I think Max Griffin often, especially in this welterweight division, gets fed to like the older contender, like Michael Chiesas of the division. So I think
Yeah.
this is kind of like same with for Chris Curtis here, where it's like, okay, show off your talent here at welterweight so that we can put you against somebody who has some like actual, top 15 level talent.
Yeah.
Coming up, boys.
Yep, I'm with you guys.
Low
I
key,
also
I think
got
I
Chris
mentioned
Curtis.
Michael Chiesa, but low key I could see like a Michael Chiesa versus Chris Curtis matchup after this.
He got subbed by Max Griffin.
Who did?
Chiesa, right?
No, I think Chiesa won that fight
Yeah,
by sub.
I think he's
I think
subbed.
you got it flipped.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
MK, you got Chris Curtis too, you said?
Yeah, I got Chris Curtis. I think he outboxes Max, and
Yeah.
he's gonna be a big man to him. So
Jack Johnson says Matthews pieces up Njoku. Yeah. I don't think so.
Definitely could.
I don't think he can even. I think he'll just get stuck behind the jab.
I
What is
think
Yeah.
TikTok
wrestling-
saying, MK?
someone asked if the Vittori Allen fight is off. Somebody said Chris Curtis underrated for real. Rehan.
Vittori Allen is on 318, so it's next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joey
Or no,
says.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vittori
Joey
Allen
says
is next week.
Vittori Allen is on 318.
Oh wait, no,
Louisiana.
it looks like it did get canceled. Am I bugging? I'm looking at
Wait,
the card right now.
Maybe
It's
it is
not on there.
canceled.
Or no, maybe it's not. It's on there. Never mind. It's just on the prelims for some
Yeah,
reason.
I think they changed it to.
Oh, it's on the prelims. It's on the prelims.
Yeah.
Isn't it in like Brendan Allen's hometown too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
in
crazy.
Louisiana.
Yeah, they put it in the prelims for his hometown.
It was supposed to be a co-main, I think.
What's up, Soggy Jamie Dodgers?
Oh, that's the
Well,
guy with my profile pic in his
Yeah,
or my
that's
the
the
profile
DM'd me on
picture.
Discord.
Uh,
Okay, for the first fight, so MK, now after each main card fight, you can read chat and you can tell chat that's what you're doing.
Okay, we're doing the main card now, guys. Join the YouTube stream. Yes, I saw
Wow.
what she said about me. Soggy.
All right, first fight of the night, we have Junior Tafa moving down a weight class, going to light heavyweight for the first time in the UFC, going against a channel favorite, Tukos Tokos.
Channel
And
favorite. I like that.
I
Can we get a
was
cheer effect?
back and forth. Yes, give me 1 second. Let me give you a cheer effect.
We're doing this
Let's go,
fight.
George.
And I had Tukos Tokos originally. I thought his takedowns would be too much for Junior, but that's what my brain is saying. Something in my heart is telling me that Junior is about to go on this crazy light heavyweight run, and I'm kind of for it. I think Junior's going to look good. He's going to look fast. He's going to be much stronger than Tukos down a weight class. Even maybe taking him down might be a challenge for it's a tough one. Taking him down won't be a challenge. Let's be real. But I think Junior gets it done. I don't. Maybe a decision win. I think Tukos will have more minutes, but I think Tafa will have more moments this fight. And it looks like the judges are going off moments nowadays. So you need Junior Tafa to get it done.
I think if Tafa wins, it's probably going to be a knockout. I think if it goes to the end, it probably will have something to do with Tuco, just because he's a decent wrestler, good at getting control on the ground. He's really strong. He's also pretty comfortable banging it out. This is another one I'm not too passionate about because Tuco, I love the guy, but he doesn't have any UFC wins. Junior absolutely sucks, but we haven't seen him at light heavyweight. So it's like, who knows? He could look better here. I really have no idea because I don't think he's that good either way. He's not just going to magically get better, even if this weight class is a little bit better for him. But he definitely could have dropped the weight class. He had the body for it.
I don't want to say, sorry to cut you off, Jackson, but I don't. When we interviewed Tukos, he was talking about how he's kind of undefeated, and I agree with him in a little perspective here. But the way he was talking about Junior Tafa, I don't want to say it made him sound a little scared, but it made him sound hesitant. When we're talking about, you're gonna easily beat Junior Tafa, I don't know, he's looked good in training, he has good power, so it seemed like he was kind of already content with losing the fight.
That's a norm, but remember Nazim Sadikov? He was
no, I don't.
He was glazing Nick Moda too. I feel like that's just what you do. You show.
Nah.
You want these wins to matter, so you don't want to be like, well, my opponent's ass, so I'm gonna go in there and beat the shit out of him. You want to be like, oh yeah, my opponent's good, so this is why if I beat him, I deserve a better fight.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I'm gonna go Tuco. Boom.
Okay.
Taking the
that's honestly, I think you have to be consistent with this fight and the next fight because they're both very similar in terms of styles. Junior Tafa and Vitor Petrino both can have a lot of potential on the feet and zero grappling ability, whereas Austin Lane and Tuco Tokos are pretty not technical at all and have zero chance of moving anywhere, but they have that grappling advantage that they could get a takedown and maybe hold their opponent down for a round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that this is going to be kind of I want to stay consistent with this and pick Junior Tafa because I think that his striking will be able to, like you said, provide bigger moments in this fight than Tuco Tokos, just wrestling. And I think maybe Junior Tafa being at a lower weight class will allow him to be able to, be more comfortable in those grappling exchanges and be more athletic rather than just getting pinned to the ground. So I'm hoping that Junior Tafa kind of makes the needed adjustments because I do think that he is the better prospect. So maybe I'm just going off of who I hope wins because I don't really have a ton of hope for Tuco Tokos having a run in the light heavyweight division, but I could see Junior Tafa having some success. So I'm kind of hoping that Junior Tafa wins, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel that. he definitely higher ceiling for sure than Tuco if he looks anything decent at this weight
And
class.
I'm like, not to spoiler alert, I'm literally gonna do the same thing with the Vitor Petrino Austin.
Hey,
Lane fight.
spoiler,
It's the same thing.
spoiler.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's the
What do you
same
got?
thing. So
All right. I'm gonna go with actually this is like pretty much like a 50-50 one for me, but I'm gonna go with Tuco just because we haven't really seen Papa at light heavyweight.
Oh yeah, great choice.
You guys
Question
aren't
mark.
like dreamers. You guys are. Hey, I haven't seen this guy fight here. I don't know if I want to pick him. You guys have to have some heart, have some foresight.
I feel like I
have
just told you I like hope that Junior Taffa wins because like I think that I could see him going. I feel like that is
yeah,
dreaming.
yeah,
I'm
that's
dreaming
what I
of Junior
like.
Taffa
Have
going
some
to the
foresight.
division.
These guys, I haven't seen Taffa fight in this weight class.
No,
Taffa, he's fat. He's not gonna be fat anymore. He's gonna be rocking a 6-pack on them PEDs.
Have you seen him? He looks really good. Have you seen
Yeah.
the pictures of him in training camp? He
Yeah.
looks really good. He does actually look like really
I'm
good.
excited
Like
to
I'm not
see him
even
for sure.
I'm not trying to glaze or anything, but he does look like really jacked in his training camp videos.
So that's 2-2 for Junior Taffa and Tucos. Let me read the YouTube chat. King said Chia. What's up, King? King said red dress.
Seabow or
She has
something.
such a bitch ass up red dress. Brika said, Unk, keep talking. I'm almost there. King said, Unk, I finished. Soggy, wait for me. We'll go around 2 together. So I hope they know each other in real life because they've just formed a bromance here too.
No, I think that they've just connected through the chat of glazing me and wanting to like meet a helicopter.
No,
on
they
stream.
want
I think that's
they
kinda-
want to see you in glaze. They're not glazing you.
Yeah. What about
Okay.
you, MK? Any good chats on the TikTok?
It's Bridka and Soggy over here too, and some guy said Teixeira he looks Hawaiian, but Soggy said Taffa by demolition. Bridka said Lewis by ball sweat. We're not there yet, but Taffa, Tokos, if you want to join our live, we're giving our opinions. And then Rampage, this guy named Rampage said, "What is that object you have?" It's back stretcher.
Rampage is cool. He's a consistent person.
Yeah.
What up,
You gotta
Rampage?
stretch your back out for when King and Breka come to. Unk's always glazing other men when I'm around, trying to make me jealous. Okay, let's go to the next fight: Victor Petrino versus Austin Lane. And Joey, I know you said that you have to be consistent. If you pick Junior
Mhm.
Taffa, you gotta have to pick Austin Lane. But
Yeah, no.
I'm going
Obviously,
Victor-
I'm picking
going
Vitor
I'm
Petrino
going
on this one.
Victor Petrino. Dude, this guy cost me so much money. 2 fights in a row.
Anthony Smith.
No, the worst one was Dustin Jacoby, and he was winning all the rounds until he just got flash KO'd. So I'm not betting on Victor Petrino anymore. I still think he's decent. I think the odds have been pretty juiced up still, though. So yeah, he's minus 700, minus 800.
Jesus,
So
dude.
I'm going Victor Petrino as a pick, but I wouldn't touch this as a bet. And even if you do, maybe Austin Lane KO is the way to go. Victor
Yeah, I
Petrino's chin was finished last fight.
To complete my thought about the whole Vitor Petrino Austin Lane thing, like I said in the previous fight, it's kind of the same thing. Guy who's really talented on the feet and a guy who is, struggles all around basically, but can get some takedowns. I like again, the heavyweight division is in so desperate need of saving that maybe my bias is blinding me thinking that Vitor Petrino can win this fight, and I know I've gotten a lot of guff about it on the live picking Vitor. But I really do hope that there's a light at the end of the tunnel with this heavyweight division and we can see some contenders, especially after this fight card. I think if we come away and see an Austin Lane win, I don't think that makes anybody happy. What's Austin Lane going to get after this fight? A fight with Chris Barnett? Because, there's not really, much for him to go. If he loses this fight, he'll probably get cut. But I just think that Vitor Petrino is decently talented on the feet. We've seen him at light heavyweight, able to make it all the way up to be able to get a ranked fight. I think that kind of talent level is able to beat a guy like Austin Lane, who is.
I forgot he's moving up a weight class here.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be a really good fight.
A lot of weight switches.
Mm-hmm.
People have been giving you a hard time for picking Petrino in this one, Joey.
I got a lot of awesome Lane Glazers in the chat. I promise.
That's
you. They've been
crazy.
telling me that. Well, because it's not really that crazy, honestly, because he was able to rock Mario Pinto in their last fight, and a rising prospect in this heavyweight division. And we saw against Robelis de Spain, he was able to get takedowns and get control time enough to win. So it's not that crazy because if you compare him to Tuco Tuckus, he's having a lot more success in his fights than Tuco Tuckus is. But it's still Austin Lane. It's not like we're talking about somebody who's really good. He got knocked out by Greg Hardy in his Dana White Contender Series debut. So we're not talking about somebody who's super, super ultra talented,
Yeah, definitely with you guys. Not going to spend a ton of time on a -700 favorite. But, I mean, I think Victor's still pretty young, despite him getting pushed into some pretty big fights early in his career. He was winning the whole Dustin Jacoby fight. I think he's a much more complete fighter than Austin Lane is. Also, did Austin Lane change his name, or what is? Am I tripping?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's
Yeah,
going
Dijon,
on with the Dewan
right?
thing.
Dewan.
The one. Yeah, he's
Dijon,
undefeated.
like the mustard, bro. Like what?
He's undefeated with that name, so maybe we have to go his way.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was weird. I saw that too. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's his birth name, and it's been on all of the fights that we just haven't noticed.
MK, what do you got? Oh, Jackson,
Me personally, I got Vitor Petrino, but obviously, whenever Joey said that stuff about those little fun facts about Lane, it had me a little bit shook because I didn't really pay attention that much to Austin Lane, but I think whenever I imagine this fight playing out, I see Petrino brutally KOing Austin Lane in the first round. So I'm gonna just go with round 1 or 2 KO Vitor Petrino.
I don't think Vitor has the KO power to knock out Austin Lane, but also MK is a fun fact merchant. You give MK 3 fun facts, and he'll come to your side.
Facts. Okay, I did hit you with some hard facts though.
Yeah. I was like, what the?
Know about the Austin Lane lore. So
Yeah, I was like, wait.
I have to remind the people.
Damn, bro.
All right, next fight of the card, we got Nate.
Wait, do you want to read the comments first?
Oh, yeah,
Read the
yeah.
comments?
The TikTok comments, Rampage said Austin Lane is getting flatlined. Harrison said, when is this? This is this weekend. He may die. Bonfim win. How many times you get called Joshua Van? I hope Bonfim. Bonfim brothers are good fighters.
Let me tell you.
All right, what about YouTube? Anybody?
No.
All right, we can move on.
Does anyone want to break down this fight first?
I mean, I can go first if you'd like.
Yeah.
This is a really tough fight, but honestly, with the Nate Landwehr situation, we're talking about Nate Landwehr, Morgan Charrier here. Sorry if I didn't introduce that very well. Featherweight fight. Nate Landwehr coming off of a weird loss where he lost to Doo Ho Choi and just kind of absolutely got demolished by him, which was kind of uncharacteristic for him. But also with Nate Landwehr, it's one of those things where it's if a guy is more technical than him, he struggles so much that he just gets embarrassed. I think sometimes when he's able to take advantage of getting into flurries with people or catching people when they're maybe making mistakes, I think that's sometimes what he can take advantage of. And I think Morgan Charrier here, with so much experience against high level fighters, I think he's going to be able to kind of do the same thing that Doo Ho Choi was able to do to him, where he just kind of is able to give him, no success on the feet, no success on the ground. Morgan Charrier is really talented, just gets really tough matchups because he's a pretty rising prospect and has a lot of hype in France. So I think that, the UFC really wants him to have some success here in this featherweight division. So I think this is a good start here. A good win against Nate Landwehr will definitely, put him up in the division, hopefully get him a good fight to potentially get into the rankings soon.
Yeah, I agree. I had Morgan Charrier losing his last fight too, so I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Morgan Charrier's career and the hype around him. I said he was too busy acting in The Cage, which is the UFC Netflix drama, than actually training for his last fight, and it kind of showed. Let's be real. Nate is not a bad fighter by any means. He's kind of crazy. He's kind of there to give one to take one type of guy, but I think Morgan will get a pretty easy decision. Like Joey was saying, Morgan's a lot more technical than Nate, and I think that'll show this fight. And I think that'll be the real difference maker when it comes to it. I don't see maybe Morgan by sub, but I think decision is more likely.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm with both you guys. I'm going with Morgan as well. I mean, he did lose to Nathaniel Wood, which definitely is kind of a bad asterisk on his resume, but he did get dropped and then end up grinding it out, which is good to see. And that's kind of, I feel like, an important factor here against a guy like Nate the Train, who comes out super hot, just rearing to go in the first round. He's definitely going to come forward instantly. And Morgan, I think, is just going to be able to execute. I think he's pretty much better anywhere on the mat. So I like Charrier. I kind of agree with Chia too.
Dun Choi Woo. How do I pronounce it?
Dun Woo Choi.
Yeah,
Dun
dude, that guy did dirty things to Nate.
Yeah, that's why it makes me feel not very comfortable. Nate's also 37, which is like, kind of old for a guy that's in a lighter weight division. But as for the Nathaniel Wood thing, that's not even a terrible loss. Like, Nathaniel Wood is super good. If he didn't have that fight, that loss to Muhammad Naimov, that, was kind of like an iffy fight. They went back and forth in that fight. Like, he's had a lot of, like, split decisions not go his way, both in this division and in the bantamweight division, that have really set back his career. He's really talented. His leg kicks are really strong. His striking is probably one of the better ones in the featherweight division. I think a very underrated fighter that you could see rising through that the rankings soon in the featherweight division.
I love it. I think whenever I saw Morgan Charrier go against Chepe Mariscal, and he was like, the exchanges in that fight were crazy. I felt like they were moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and it kind of put into context like how good Morgan's like counter game was. And I think Nate Landwehr, someone who just kind of marches forward and like puts the pressure on you. I think he's going to walk into some of Charrier's counter game, and I think Charrier should win this by finish, or like maybe like a club and sub is what I'm thinking. If it goes to the ground, I don't know.
Yeah. So all four of us on the Morgan train?
Yeah,
cool.
We're all on Morgan. This is one I'm excited about, the Kattar Garcia one.
If you're so excited, break it down.
Well, also give us, is there any updates to the TikTok comments?
Oh, update on the TikTok comments. Unk's mouth moves so smoothly and seductively. Ugh.
I probably should put my mouth open after he says that. They're gonna edit a penis in there or something.
And then we got like Shane asks where's Unk, but he's now in the YouTube chat. Raymond says Kattar or Garcia. We're gonna get to that. Join the YouTube stream, guys. That's it.
YouTube. Hello, Unk by Shane. We want to see you swallow banana. And then Sean says Charrier by decision's a lock, which I agree with.
I like that.
How old are you, Joey, by the way?
I am 25, so calling me Unk is
I am older than you too, so at least I don't look it. Am I right, chat?
Damn.
All right, MK, you want to break down this fight?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think Calvin Kattar, he's a great fighter in a lot of ways, but I think recently, I can't say he's lost a touch, but like I think that whenever he goes against someone like Steve Garcia, I think he might find himself on the end of like a bad, like an ugly decision loss, like maybe like a split decision loss, or like I don't know. Like I just think that he's not there anymore. I saw that he was like, doing like a lot of promoting and stuff. I just think his head is a little bit out of the game. Hasn't gotten a win since 2022, like early 2022. Yeah. I'm going with Steve Garcia.
Yeah,
I'm
when
totally
I
with you,
you want to go first, Jackson?
Go for it, Gia.
Yeah, when I originally saw the odds of this fight, I was surprised that it was so close. It's basically a pick 'em at this point with Calvin Kattar and Steven Garcia. And Steven Garcia has been on a disgusting tear throughout the division. KOing his last 5 opponents: Kyle Nelson, Chase Hooper, Costa, a few good names, I'd say. And then I'm looking at Calvin Kattar's losses, and a lot of his losses come from people that are willing to mix it up, willing to take him on the ground, willing to shoot a takedown just to get in Calvin's head. No one's having a pure striking battle with him. For example, Zalal, 8 takedowns. Calvin shut them all down. Sterling went for 13 takedowns. Josh Emmett went for 4 takedowns. So it has me questioning whether Steve Garcia will be able to mix it up, which I don't think he'll do. Because on a pure technical standpoint, a pure striking battle, it'll give it to Calvin Kattar. But I feel like if Steve lands that one strike, Calvin's going to be sleeping. And I can see Steve land that one strike. So I'm going Steve Garcia by KO.
A lot of the things that you said resonated with me when I was thinking about this pick. Like, obviously, Calvin Kattar being 37 and being on a losing streak is sitting in the back of my head. He was being outstruck, obviously, by Yusuf Zalal. It wasn't like Yusuf Zalal was relying on those takedowns. He really was, kind of able to, pick and move
Shot 8 of them,
on the feet against him. Yeah, true. And I think I'm not 100% sold on Steve Garcia yet. He's got finished or he's got dropped a couple of times. And he's kind of had to fight back in some of his knockout finishes to get the win. But I just honestly don't think Calvin Kattar is the guy to be able to stymie Steve Garcia. I think you could see him moving up in the division and fighting a guy like Dan Ige or Josh Emmett, and those guys having a lot of success against a guy like Steve Garcia. But Calvin Kattar, in his last couple of fights, just hasn't looked up to par, and it's just not really, made me feel comfortable enough to be able to pick him, whereas Steve Garcia is obviously on this pretty massive run right now. And so that's kind of really my only reasoning behind this. Obviously, Calvin Kattar has, the veteran status, been in wars and fought really high caliber fighters, whereas Steve Garcia might be, fighting some low caliber talent. But I gotta stick with Steve Garcia here and see that he gets the knockout at some point in the fight.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys. This is a young man sport. Calvin winless for a super long time now. Steve Garcia on an undeniable streak. So I think you just got to ride with the hot hand on this one. I totally think Garcia is capable of knocking out Calvin Kattar. I think Calvin is probably also going to try to strike with him too for the majority of this one. And if he does go to the wrestling, Steve Garcia's got great takedown defense. We saw that against Yusuf Zalal. So yeah, totally agree with all you guys.
Yeah. Does it change any? I know we all have Steve Garcia here, but does it change any of your minds if I tell you at age 19, Calvin Kattar flew to California to train with Nick and Nate Diaz after being inspired by them on TV?
Man, maybe.
Not really. He still fights a New England Cartel, which is like one of the worst MMA gyms that's in the UFC, unfortunately.
Okay. I just thought I'd add a fun fact
him
in there.
and Rob Font are like the two goats of their gym, so it's like I think you guys might need to change it up a little bit.
My next fight, and it's a fight I'm kind of
Any
excited
comments?
to see.
Yeah,
No,
let me read
none on my
read
end.
some comments for you guys. There's quite a bit. There's one guy who got mad at me for not responding too. So, are you related to Curry and Zombie? You're gonna be the richest one. Why are you holding an adult toy? When is this? Petrino KO. Bonfim sub. Why is Steven Thompson fighting? Does he need money? Wonder
He's
Boy
not
by
that
Flying Me. Okay, I guess they're all over the place on this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a tough fight to predict. I mean, if you want me to go into it, I can. Chia.
Okay, wait. Let me read the
We're going
comments.
over Wonder Boy versus Bonfim live on YouTube. Tap
Okay.
in, guys.
YouTube comments. Anonymous says, "Who beats Ilya in the lightweight division right now, and how?" Well, we can talk about that after we go through the picks and predictions. Then he commented, "Who beats Ilya again?" We call him Unk because of the way he walks when we finish with him. Unk's so locked in on this. I wish he was like this when we play. He's just so tired all the time.
What are we talking
y'all saying
about?
Calvin's gonna get knocked out is crazy. Bro lasted 5 rounds with Max Holloway. You're acting Max Holloway's this knockout artist. Max Holloway's a volume
Especially at
striker.
featherweight.
Yeah, Max Holloway's a volume striker, not a power puncher.
That was a long time ago too.
Yeah, Joey, you want to go Stephen Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim?
Yeah. So I was consistent with the Tuco Tuckus and the Vitor Petrino, that kind of whole jammed up fight at the beginning of this main card. I'm going to stay consistent here again, here at the top of the card, and say that the old man is winning. I think Wonder Boy is too talented for a guy like Gabriel Bonfim, a guy who lost to a 40-year-old a year ago in Nicholas Dalby, and I think that Wonder Boy is a lot better than Nicholas Dalby is. And in that fight against Joaquin Buckley, he was winning the whole time until he got KO'd. Gabriel Bonfim doesn't have the knockout power that Joaquin Buckley has, obviously. And I think that maybe he might have a little bit more in the grappling department, but I think Wonder Boy has had to face grapplers for the past 10 fights. They never are giving him strikers, because the UFC just hates him for some reason. So I think this is a perfect matchup for him to be able to kind of showcase a little bit of his striking and potentially get a knockout here, hopefully in his last fight. I mean, he's 42 years old. I can't imagine that if he wins this fight that he'll want to, take another one. I feel like co-main, Nashville main event. He lives in South Carolina, I think. I think this is a perfect, kind of matchup for him to ride off in the sunset for, because I think it's a, decent prospect in Gabriel Bonfim, but I think that he's kind of can get chinny at some points, and I think Wonder Boy's going to be able to take advantage of that.
So my only concern with that take is I was on the Stephen Wonder Boy plus 3.5 spread throughout these past few days. But if Gabriel lands a takedown, I think he is good enough on the ground to just submit Wonder Boy. And anytime a fighter has shot a takedown against Stephen Thompson, they were able to take him down. I'm not saying the first time, the second time, but he's been taken down in every fight where a fighter has attempted a takedown. And do we think he's good enough to get out of Gabriel Bonfim's grappling? He averages 4 takedowns per fight. I think if he gets him down 2-3 times, I think he might be able to find a submission win. So originally I was on the Stephen Thompson decision win, but I think I'm switching it up to the Gabriel Bonfim.
Well, to counter your argument, even though you're saying that he gets taken down a lot, in that Joaquin Buckley fight, I think we could both agree that until the knockout, he was winning the majority of that fight.
I agree.
He got taken down 4 times in that fight, and he was still able to have a lot of success in that fight. And then his first submission loss was to Shavkat, you know what I mean, in 2023. So it's not like this guy's, getting taken down and submitted a lot. I think that it takes a lot for you to really control a guy like Wonder Boy.
Yeah, really but to counter your counter argument, Buckley has 0 submission wins in his whole career. So it's not like that's a submission threat.
But either way, Wonder Boy has only been submitted once in his career, and I think we can all value how many good opponents that Wonder Boy has fought in his career. I'm sure he's fought a lot.
No, he's been submitted
good
twice.
Submission artists.
He's been submitted twice.
Twice.
1 against Shavkat and 2 against Gabriel Bonfim this Saturday night. Come see it live at the TikTok chat.
Yeah, I got Bonfim with y'all, or not with y'all, with you, Chia. I thought the sub win over Chaos was a good sign. Like I think you were saying, Wonder Boy doesn't have good takedown defense. Chia, you also mentioned that he gets taken down by his opponents in pretty much every fight, and I think that's exactly where Bonfim's going to take it. He's a high IQ fighter. Seems to kind of have his stride back a little bit with that last win. I mean, he's a huge favorite. Seems like the public kind of agrees with that. Bonfim should win this. He should be able to tire out Stephen Thompson, get it to the ground eventually. Like Wonder Boy still looks great, especially for his age, but it's still tough to go all 3 rounds at that rate with someone trying to take you down the entire time.
I mean, my only concern with the whole, because I like Gabriel Bonfim a lot as well, but he did just get mauled by Nicholas Dalby like a year ago. Like I just can't feel safe picking Gabriel Bonfim knowing that he's been mauled by a striker that's way less than Wonder Boy.
Yeah, I do think the odds are a little too skewed.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the odds on this entire card kind of seem insane.
Yeah, very weird.
Okay.
I'm also with you guys or not with you guys. I'm with Joey on Stephen Thompson. I think that Stephen Thompson is going to be able to stay up. I don't think Bonfim is going to go out there, get takedowns, and just sit on him. I think he's going to actively look for a submission, and if he doesn't get it, I think Thompson's going to be able to execute his game plan and win the fight. And I just trust him a lot because he's a veteran in the game.
MK doesn't trust Wonder Boy. He trusts my facts that I was spitting during
I like Joey's
during
fact
my
list
spiel.
most.
Anonymous said who has Garcia knocked out? Kyle Nelson.
That's Chia, right?
All of us.
Jay Super.
So who has he
Oh,
knocked
okay.
out?
Costa.
Oh, who has he knocked out? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a power puncher. He's knocked out his last 5 opponents. I think majority of them in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, no one as good as a striker as Calvin Kattar, if that's your argument. I agree with you there. But comparing Max Holloway's power to Steven Garcia's power, I think is a little silly.
All right. Should I read off the TikTok
W
comments to you
swallowing
guys?
technique. If Wonder Boy keeps his distance and picks his shots, the easy dub. Yeah, I think that's where Joey and MK are going.
yeah.
I could see it. I could see it
agree.
for
If,
sure.
if Steven Thompson doesn't get taken down, I think this easy ass fight.
All right. For the TikTok comments, Thompson hits a first round for Trump. Thompson tough to finish with this karate style. I hope Wonder Boy gets the dub, but I won't be surprised if Bonfim gets it. There's this. Oh, Britka said, "Tell Jackson to turn those." I'm not gonna read that.
Yeah,
on the
thank
stream.
If you guys want us to
I don't
read
even know what
something,
he was gonna say. But
tell him lenient. It's more lenient on YouTube. The comments.
Yeah, comment on YouTube, guys. I'm not gonna read it. All right. Thompson, old though. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, Anonymous just said if Bonfim grapple fucks him, it's over. Yeah, I think honestly, double chance Wonder Boy decision, Bonfim submission might be the wave. For the
Thank you, Anonymous, for stating the absolute obvious. If Gabriel Bonfim grapple fucks him, he'll win. Oh, really? That would be like saying if Wonder Boy knocks out Gabriel Bonfim, he'll win. No shit. Like what? Like that was the dumbest comment of all time.
That's just from why? What did you do to deserve that? Maybe that's why they're so mean to you in the chat because you're mean to them.
Well, that was just a dumbass comment. Like what? Like that's literally saying like if Wonder Boy knocks Gabriel Bonfim out, he'll win. Like obviously that will happen. Like what? Like was that not like a really dumb comment? I'm sorry.
Okay, for the final fight of the night, main event, 5-rounder, Derek Lewis versus Taliesin Teixeira. They got a new picture of Derek Lewis in HD, kind of looking thick. Kind of looking like he's gaining a little weight. Kind of looking like he's not training anymore. Kind of looking like
Doesn't need
I
to
would
train.
say something, but I'd get canceled on TikTok, so I'm not going to say it. Gabriel Taliesin Teixeira, this man also has a weird build. I'm not a fan of his tattoo. I don't like any.
I like the spider. It's kind of dope.
To be honest, I don't know who wins. I'm so indecisive about this fight. Like Derek Lewis is always that one guy I think you can't bet against because he's always live for a knockout. And that being said, can he even reach Teixeira's chin? If Teixeira hits a little Superman punch, can Derek Lewis hit him? I don't know. I'm not betting. I don't even have a prediction for this fight yet.
Yeah, I think this is definitely not one that anyone should bet on. Kind of, I think what you were hitting at there, but I'm gonna go with Teixeira. Probably just gonna be higher volume. Derek Lewis, he throws like 2.5 significant strikes a minute. Super low volume. I think that's gonna be.
No, that was for Joey. Joey, someone said shut your bitch ass up. You're so obnoxious.
To me?
Yeah, that's what Anonymous said.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, bro. Sick him, chat. Sick him. All my Glazers in chat. Sick him.
He said, did you notice none of your friends backed you on that? Shut the fuck up. I was making a statement. You so flake.
I'm pretty sure everybody. Well, I don't care. Whatever. Who cares? like whatever. Continue with the comments.
I didn't know I could
on the
put the comments on the screen. It's actually so funny.
Do you want me to give you my take about this Derek Lewis fight, or who was?
Sorry, I'll wrap mine up. Yeah, I'm going Teixeira. Not super confident either way. I just think he He's faster, higher volume. Probably, I mean, he's super unproven. Yeah, I'm gonna go him though.
Yeah. I told you I was going to stay consistent with this fight. Pick the old man in the last fight. I'm picking the old man again here. I think Derek Lewis will be able to get it done. Taliesin Teixeira,
The
I
unks
don't
are
think he's
staying
as
with
great
each
of.
other. The unks
Yeah,
are staying
I
with
mean,
each other.
I just don't think Taliesin Teixeira is as talented of a prospect as people are hyping him up to be, especially right now. I've seen him get touched up a lot in his Dana White Contender Series fight, and I think having 8 fights and then immediately being thrown into a main event is going to be really tough. We saw that Derek Lewis was able to finish Rodrigo Nascimento in his last fight round, and that another rising Brazilian prospect that was hoping to crack into the top 15. I think that the same thing can happen here with Derek Lewis. He's just got that power that's just like an equalizer for everything. And if you aren't able to like stymie him with grappling or, be a better all around striker than him, like in terms of like in the pocket, I think that you struggle. Like a guy like Tai Tuivasa is going to have some success against Derek Lewis just because he's willing to step inside the pocket with him and throw. If you're going to stay and pick your shots with a jab and kind of like lean out of shots, I think that leaves you open to like getting caught with a hook. And I think Derek Lewis, if you get caught with a hook from Derek Lewis, you're basically dead. So I'm going to go with Derek Lewis here. I don't think it's an obvious choice, but I think I'm more comfortable picking Derek Lewis in this fight than I am picking Wonder Boy in the Bonfim fight.
Yeah. To be completely honest with you guys, I'm not sold on Taliesin, Texas, and I'm gonna have to go with Derek Lewis. I think Derek
Taliesin,
Lewis.
Texas is like a porn name, bro. That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm going with Derek Lewis. I think Derek Lewis is gonna smoke this guy. He gets hit sometimes. I saw this video of Taliesin, chasing down this old dude who looked like he was out of shape, and just beating him down, and then still getting hit with some big right hands. And he didn't get slept because the guy was literally like 50 years old. But I think someone like Derek Lewis, I'm gonna have to take the shot on it because why not? Someone like I don't think Taliesin is skilled at all. So yeah.
I'd love to see a double retirement out of these guys. Both guys calling it quits after their fights if they get wins, especially.
How old is Taliesin? Isn't he like
He's
20
young.
something?
Right?
He's talking about
I'm not talking
Wonder
about
Boy.
Taliesin. I'm obviously talking about Derek Lewis, the 40-year-old. I'm saying if they go out on wins, like I'd like to see both of these guys go out on wins, ride off into the sunset with some big wins. So that's what I'm kind of.
I think Derek will keep fighting until the UFC cuts him.
Facts.
I think
Then we might see John Jones versus Derek Lewis.
I pay. Jack Johnson said Garcia finished Melt Costa. Yeah, that's also a good knockout.
Yeah, that's a good finish too.
In the first round, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a good finish. I think it was a second round knockout for him.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's our main card predictions. If you want to go live with us, or if you want to talk fights while we go live, we'll be streaming the card. And
I'll be going live this weekend.
Yeah, I should be there as well. So we'll be
Let's go
live. I'm finally back to going live. So, any TikTok
the
comments?
Boys are back.
Okay.
I love you guys, and on the stream, everyone was talking about how so there's some like hypothetical questions, like a quick FAQ. Would you rather take 55 clean uppercuts in a row from Ngannou or only watch WMMA, women's MMA?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather not
only
die,
watch
so
women's
I guess I'll
MMA.
have to watch
Yeah,
WMMA.
55 uppercuts is certainly.
I would
best,
just
yeah.
not watch MMA anymore.
All right,
That's like
the
getting
boys are all
hit with a
saying
Ford
not watch.
F-150, or what was it, Ford Escape, 55 times.
Looks like all the boys are just saying they would rather watch only women's MMA.
I wouldn't watch MMA.
You wouldn't watch MMA in
That
general?
was the bad hypothetical, like watching women's MMA or death. Like, obviously, I don't want to die, so.
Yeah, who said that? Call him out.
It's safe.
Yeah, well, can we have some more intelligent comments in the chat, please? I never bully you guys for this, but this was ridiculous today. Anything else okay, or?
Let me see. There's a lot. Like they're just making fun of me. Like at one point, calling me Duho Choi, starved Shavkat.
Someone said 2 viewers. Come on, guys, you just stop while you casual UFC opinions isn't gonna get you anywhere. Hey, we're kind of popping on TikTok, Anonymous. That's where
Relax,
most of our
bro.
viewers are.
Yeah.
How many we got on TikTok? Hopefully we can gas it
We
up a
got
little bit.
15, 9 to 15. Like we were at that range for a minute.
Yeah, and when we go live
Nice.
for the fights, we get thousands.
So suck it, haters in the
But
chat. We got
Anonymous is
we got a
fine.
little. We got about 20.
So does that mean Anonymous is finding us straight through?
YouTube, I
YouTube?
guess so.
He said that shut him up quick. When we need a UFC kitchen division, women will cook and meal prep. The actual fight. Yeah, Anonymous doesn't like you, Joey.
Well, I
that's
got
why-
a lot of lovers in the chat, clearly, so I think he's in a strong minority.
Maybe that's why he's hiding.
Most
his name,
people would
but
rather
Anonymous.
just-
All right, guys.
All right, Vice. Let's call it there.
Yeah,
Alright.
sounds good. I'm cool with it.
See you, boys. I'll join your Discord after.
Yeah, me too.
All right, sounds good.
Peace out, guys.